Good evening, Football-Oranje fans. Netherlands 2, Latvia 0. I admit I had to miss the game tonight, but I'm here with Mike, who definitely watched the game and is very knowledgeable on what happened tonight. And it sounds like, just from a quick conversation before we went live, Mike, that it wasn't that entertaining and quite a stodgy performance, maybe.
Yeah, I think Frank de Boer, in run-up to the game, said that the thing he wanted to see was clinical finishing from his side. He said we need to be more clinical from when they were against Turkey, and we definitely didn't get that tonight. And there was 37 shots on goal, only 2 goals scored. I think the World Cup groups are actually based on goal difference when it comes down to it. So tonight was a big chance to add to that, and it wasn't taken. I think it was just a frustrating performance in front of goal. I think that Latvia came to defend. They were really poor tonight, and everyone's just failed to put them away. Then this game should have been 5-6-0, and because of the finishing, it wasn't. And there was even some times where Latvia got through on goal. There's some dodgy defending. I think Daley Blind was caught out a few times, lack of pace. But yeah, for me, this isn't the performance that makes me go, okay, we're back on track here. This is when it makes me go, right, we're in trouble against good sides here, because the lack of finishing from this side is a bit of a worry right now.
If you're watching live and you have something to say tonight, something to say about Frank de Boer, something to say about the players, please do comment, whether you're live or whether you're watching this after we've gone live. The thing that struck me before kickoff was that Wijndal, Klaassen and Luuk de Jong were starting. What did you make of their performances? Did they step it up?
Wijndal was good. I thought he was okay against Turkey. I thought he was okay tonight as well. He made one really, really good last-ditch challenge. He got forward a lot. I think the problem with Wijndal is he gets forward a lot and he gets in good positions, but the crossing isn't there yet. That lack of...
He doesn't swing him in, does he? He likes to play with the winger and send him in low.
Yeah, that's what he's lacking. He's lacking the ability to cross. Somebody like Jetro Willems, when he was at PSV, was always great on the ball. He was always a great crosser. You could put it on, because that side that had Willems, Depay, Wijnaldum and Luuk de Jong in it for PSV, one of the main features of it was Jetro Willems crossing the ball for Luuk de Jong, and that was always perfect. Wijndal doesn't have that yet. He doesn't have that end product. He gets in those good positions, but then always seems to hit the first defender or seems to get cleared. He doesn't have that crossing ability yet. And Klaassen had, for me, a horrific game in front of goal. I think he scored a great goal against Turkey. I mean, that was Berghuis-esque how he took that down and scored it. Was brilliant. But tonight he had a very, very frustrating game. A couple of chances right in front of goal. One was cleared off the line. A couple of saves, a couple off target. Yeah, he was frustrating me tonight. Just was lack of finishing ability. But he stayed on for longer. I thought that de Boer might have changed him a bit earlier than he did. He eventually went off for Van de Beek. But you have to say that Klaassen, he got into the positions tonight. He was basically playing as a second striker. He was up there with de Jong trying to feed off those little knockdowns in front of the box, but it just wasn't there tonight. In fact, for me, again, Luuk de Jong, he scored against Turkey, although, he caught out Luuk de Jong goal. He basically fell and it hit him and it went in.
2 goals in 2 games, though, so how can you argue with not setting records?
It's hard, because even his goal today, it kind of came off his shoulder, hit a defender, kind of went in. He's getting the goals. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. If Frank de Boer gets asked about Berghuis, he says, de Jong scored twice. But other than his goal, he hit the bar from very close range. He put another very close range header over the bar. These are things that, like, when these games are coming down to goal difference, you need to be clinical, and Luuk de Jong wasn't clinical tonight. He got 1 goal, should have had more. He's big, he's strong, he can link the play sometimes, but I just don't think he's got that extra bit of quality that you need from a Netherlands striker. We've always had great strikers in the Netherlands national team, and Luuk de Jong isn't that. I think he played all right tonight. If you ask me now, would you prefer Berghuis to de Jong? I still go with Berghuis, because I think that if he was playing tonight, he'd have scored maybe 2 or 3 goals, because he was more clinical with his feet. But yeah, it's just one of these games. It's hard to rate how it went because Netherlands were so dominant and Latvia were so poor. But this should be a 6-0 win. This should be a 5-0 win. This shouldn't be a 2-0 struggle in front of goal. So yeah, it's just frustrating that after that Turkey game, we're looking for a performance, and I don't think this was it.
Okay, so again, the players didn't impress, and we will come on to Frank de Boer and perhaps Peter Bosch coming in a little bit later. Some of the comments that have come in have been talking about the players whilst we've been discussing how some of the guys have been performing tonight. And the first one that came in was talk about Steven Berghuis, how he played very well, scored and created many chances for others. And that's the kind of performance you want to see from Berghuis in a Netherlands shirt. But do you think maybe the opposition was a factor in that? Because Berghuis is doing well at final because he can play against weaker teams, weaker opposition. He's good at being a big fish. But how did you make of his performance? Do you think he's worth keeping that starting spot? Because at the moment, having started those 2 games, he's going to start at the Euros.
Yeah, I can see him starting against Gibraltar as well. Frank de Boer seems to like him a lot. I think when I saw the starting lineup today, I went Berghuis again, because he was that bad against Turkey. I just thought he did absolutely nothing, and that was against a stronger defence. Tonight, took his goal well. It was a great finish. It's his first Netherlands goal. You got to say that Netherlands were struggling to score, and he got the goal. He got the first one. He did set up chances. I thought he did well. But yeah, against the Latvian defence, that was awful. It's hard to judge because if this is coming up against Norway or Turkey at home, or even better nations that the Euros are going to face in the group stages, is he going to convince then? And right now I'd probably say no. But then de Boer made his changes so late that you can't really say that any of them made an impact. So when Calvin Stengs came on, or you can't really say that you saw much of him to say whether he'd be a better option. So for me right now, yeah, you'd think that because Berghuis has played so much of the 2 games here, it seems that de Boer wants him to start. And even when he was talking in the pre-game press conference, it seemed that for the left wing, he said Malin and Memphis and Bergwijn were the options for that wing, and for the right, it was only Stengs or Berghuis. So it seems that Berghuis is his preferred option right now, going forward. And I can't think of anyone off the top of my head right now who's going to come in and change that. Whether it be possibly Noah Lang, if he was going for Club Brugge, might come into that running. But yeah, I think Berghuis may be one of the standouts tonight. But again, it's against this Latvia side, so just need to see how he does when going forward. If he can be more consistent, right? But this is his first goal for the Netherlands in 23 appearances, so yeah, you need to see more from him.
Yeah, I would suggest the same, that Berghuis is going to be the starting right wing at the moment. Stengs is more inexperienced, and Berghuis is a confidence player. If you give him the confidence that you're going to start matches, keep playing for your club, keep scoring for Feyenoord, could be an interesting option. Some more of the comments talking about Luuk de Jong and how he continues to hold development of players like Marlon. Obviously, different striker to Marlon. De Boer wants to play with a focal point when he's playing against weak sides. Someone who's good in the air, it's going to be physical. Probably isn't a bad idea. Another one talking about Luuk de Jong and Klaassen. Lack of quality is so evident. Klaassen had numerous clear-cut chances. I think Klaassen plays better deep in midfield nowadays, like he does for Ajax. So it's interesting that he was been put in like a second striker role tonight. And Van der Beek, Gravenberch and Marlon all offer more. With Klaassen, that the moment's truth has never been convinced. It seems that these players are going to the Euros and there's only one match to go. Can't see it all changing. Then a very different kind of comment from Ryan, that only the Dutch mindset could take 3 points in the World Cup qualifier at 2-0 and have nothing positive to say. This team is going to grow into their chemistry, and when Van Dijk returns, we'll be right there. I'd love to hear your views on that in a second, Mike, but my initial thoughts on that are that the Netherlands were flying high under Ronald Koeman, and not a lot has changed with the players since then, but performances and results have worsened under De Boer. So surely there's a right to criticise and doubt and question what Frank de Boer is doing with the national squad.
Yeah, so as I say, it's hard to judge tonight because Netherlands were camped in the Latvian half, and it was down to really bad finishing. But that's what it is. It's a lack of quality. It's a lack of confidence in front of goal. It stems down to De Boer. That game against Turkey was awful, and his record is awful. Only 2 wins from his opening 7 games in charge. Netherlands national team is going backwards. And if you're playing a Latvian side that spends the whole time in their half, and you're getting clear-cut chances in front of goal, and you'd only take 2 of them, it's not De Boer's fault. He's not the one finishing, but it's the player's fault. It's De Boer's fault. This Netherlands team needs criticism because that's the only way it's going to get better. And I think if everyone just says, "Oh, that was a great performance," then what are we aiming for? Like to say that a 2-0 win against Latvia where we had 37 shots on goal is all good. It's not. There's something wrong there in the attack, and that needs to be solved going into Euros because, as you say, he's only got 1 more game to go against Gibraltar, which he's not going to learn much from. Maybe that'll be the 6-0. Maybe that'll be the one that Memphis takes his frustration out on tonight. He scores 4 goals and they win 7-0, and that's great, and everything looks rosy again heading into Euros. But no, we know it's not that. This was Netherlands against Latvia. When they're going to get to the Euros, they're going to be playing Ukraine and Austria, who are tougher sides at home. And if they get those chances and don't take them, Ukraine and Austria have better quality going forward to then expose the gaps that Latvia couldn't tonight. So, yeah, you've got to look at these games as the run up to the Euros. And if this is a performance that we're going to get at the European Championships, I'd be a bit worried.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And there's a doubt from some people as well about Daley Blind. I don't buy too much into it. I do say that sometimes the physical attributes can hinder him, but you can tell that when he plays at Ajax, his technical ability at centre-back is a great asset. And I think he continues to grow as a player. And I don't mind that he plays for Netherlands and starts for Netherlands. I just wouldn't play him next to Joel Veltman, for example. A couple more things about players. This guy says we seem very slow, sloppy, losing focus, and far from great. And the midfield needs to step up more.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems tonight was Wijnaldum. I think Wijnaldum had a really, really poor game. And that's 2 in a row.
We don't speak about him very much, do we, at the
moment? He's now the captain. I was quite surprised at that because I thought maybe Memphis would get the captain's armband, but it is Wijnaldum. He got heavily criticised in the media after the Turkey game, and tonight he was really bad again. 6 shots, all off target. Some of them were just woeful, screwed well wide. Didn't look good at all in that midfield. It wasn't a surprise when he got taken off. I think that Gravenberch could have came on much earlier and would have had more of an impact on the game if he was on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. And formation as well. I think the 4-3-3 is going to stick around now, but the suggestion that they play 3 at the back. But if the fullbacks aren't good enough, you need some really strong fullbacks / wing backs to play wing backs in a 3-5-2. There's another one about Berghuis, that how he shouldn't have been form. He shouldn't be in the squad because he hasn't been on form for Spurs for ages. I agree, but there's very few options at the moment, I guess, unless you called Noah Lang up. And one from Luke here, which kind of is a nice lead into what I want to talk about next. Sack De Boer now before it's too late, and potentially Peter Bosz coming in. Mike, I felt that what you put on Twitter, I think it was today, was particularly interesting. That is it that the old technical director of Heracles, Hoogma, he's the technical director of the Netherlands. Is that correct? And
yeah.
With De Boer's sort of reputation at the moment on the line, you think after a result like tonight, this is the last chance to get rid of him, or maybe after the Gibraltar match, the last chance to get rid of him before the Euros. It could be a shock appointment. Bosz wouldn't have long to work with the players, but this is a great opportunity to bring him in.
Yeah, on paper it looks like a great chance for the KNVB to go, right, we've got Bosz there. I think before they even appointed De Boer, that he was number 1 target. They even went to him and said, do you want the job? Bosz said yes, but then the KNVB had no interest in actually paying out Bosz's contract. So it's clear that they would have wanted Bosz. If he was free, he would be the national team coach right now. But yeah, for me, what we're going to see now is De Boer come out. I've not seen his comments after the game, but he'll say that's a good performance, that they were camped in their half, had so many chances, they played well. It was the reaction he wanted to see after the Turkey game. KNVB will go, okay, we got a win. We'll probably beat Gibraltar. We're going to keep De Boer for the Euros, and that'll be that. For me, Bosch is going to be the Netherlands coach only if De Boer has a shocker at the Euros. I don't think they'll sack him now this close to the European Championships. I think that Bosch probably wouldn't even want it. You wouldn't want to come in straight into a tournament and then have absolutely no time to work with these players. I think that the KNVB will even see that as a little bit of a disadvantage. But yeah, for me, I would sack De Boer now. I think that everything's gone backwards and go for Bosch, but I just can't see it happening. I don't think the KNVB would make that sort of decision.
I just want to bring up the poll that you put up on Twitter about De Boer. And you put up on Twitter about whether you think De Boer should be staying in the job or whether he should leave. And I can't find the poll now. Was it before the match, Mike?
Yeah, so I just put out one saying, what's your thoughts on De Boer at the moment?
Got it.
Do you think he's doing a good job? Do you think he needs more time, or do you think he should be sacked now?
And 2.7% think that he's doing well. 16.7% think he needs more time, and 80.6% say sack him now. That's quite a majority of fans, and a very similar minority who think he's doing well. I suspect a few of the people that said that he was doing well might be trolls or people that would like the Netherlands to do pretty poorly. If there's anyone here that thinks that he should stay in the job, we'd love to hear from you as to why you think that will be the case. I can only think that the reason why you keep De Boer in the job now is you give him time, you give him the Euros, and then say, right, we'll go from there. But the tournaments only come around every so often. And right now, you can just see disaster about to happen. And I know there's a risk with putting Bosch in charge with his different ideas, different tactics, different players wanted. But that impact might actually do Netherlands some good rather than the opposite. Right now, it just seems like a walking disaster waiting to happen. And that those 3 group matches are going to be over pretty quick, or they'll scrape getting through and get knocked out in the knockout round. And it's going to be pointless going to a tournament at the moment like this. And what a shame as well, because they've got those home games in the Euros to get them started, potentially with fans in as well. But it could go pear-shaped really quickly. And a lot of people put in the comments just all of a sudden about De Boer that he should leave. Yeah, and how much pressure is De Boer under in the Dutch media right now? That might be an interesting one to learn more about.
Yeah, I was going to say that some of the media today, the Telegraph, AD, and Football International all came out with articles talking about De Boer and saying that the Netherlands national team's gone backwards under him. So yeah, I think that the pressure is there on the media front. They are starting to question his appointment. They are starting to say that it was a mistake. He is starting to get harder questions in press conferences and before the game. For today's game, he was even asked again about Berghuis, asking why wouldn't you have another striker on the bench if you're going to play Luke de Jong and Memphis in the same sort of having like another impact sub. I don't know if it was a joke, but he said that he could use Matthijs de Ligt if he needed someone up front. So that was just come back to that. So you can just tell that he's getting under pressure and his comments are starting to wrangle. So
he's so stubborn as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah, they said this at Atlanta United. They said at Inter Milan that, and I think they even said at Crystal Palace that he was almost impossible to work with because of how stubborn he was. He was coming in, he was showing up players on the training ground. He was very stubborn. He just doesn't seem to be a sort of person that's going to deviate from his point of view and his way or lump it really. And once again in this job, it's getting proven that his way isn't the right way. And yeah, after this job, I know where does he go, because he's running out of chances to keep getting jobs. So he's going to want to keep this one as long as possible because it's probably going to be one of his last ones in management. But yeah, the KNVB it's a big mistake. We all knew it coming into him getting the job that it was going to be like this, but getting proven right. So yeah, it's just wait out and see how long he lasts.
I think that we shouldn't talk too much about Netherlands because it's just so frustrating, and I think we watch football to be entertained, and I don't think you could say this was a particularly entertaining evening, and it's not going to be entertaining Euros at this rate. So it's very depressing. It's very frustrating. We had one final question about what would our starting 11 be for the Euros. I think that we will hold those things ready to go for the Euros. We'll give our own Euro squad predictions as well, perhaps players we want to see in the squad, starting 11 predictions, all to come on Football-Oranje. And we'll also try and do a post-match reaction to the Gibraltar match too coming up. So do please stick around in that evening. Hopefully there's some goals to celebrate and things to enjoy. Are there any final thoughts from you, Mike, on tonight's match against Latvia?
Yeah, again, it's just not the response we wanted from the Netherlands after the Turkey game. We knew that this was going to be a win. Latvia were never going to beat the Netherlands. I know a lot of people in the pre-match predictions asked for said that they wanted Latvia to win to get De Boer out. I don't think that was ever on the cards tonight, but what we got was pretty much what we expected, which was a small victory, which isn't enough to ease the pressure. So I'm expecting, if these players want De Boer to stay in charge, I'm expecting a big win against Gibraltar. A side that's probably even worse than Latvia at the moment. So yeah, we'll go into Tuesday's game expecting a big win. But yeah, it's just worrying times ahead of the Euros at the moment.
Yeah, really worrying. And there's so few players that will come into the squad because De Boer won't give them a chance, or you would agree that it's too late to introduce a new player into the squad. Just for example, there was one here about bringing El Ghazi into the squad. He deserves a chance. I'm an Aston Villa fan. There's a big flag behind me. And I don't think he deserves to be called up for Netherlands. I watch him as often as I can with Villa, and he just he had a purple patch around Christmas, and since then hasn't been great. In fact, he has a couple of really bad performances mixed in with some really exciting ones. Doesn't have much of an end product, but is someone who has a bit of magic and a bit of skill. Don't think it work for Netherlands though. I don't see how it fits in. It seems that to play for Netherlands, you either have to be really skillful and technical, like Berghuis is, for example, or you need to have lots of pace. And he doesn't have either of those really. Someone who's more of a confidence player than Berghuis, and he isn't good enough for the national team. A final thing from us then, if you love what we do at Football-Oranje, I have to say I'm really just happy and delighted that we've had lots of orders for these Football-Oranje wristbands. But if you're still feeling really up for the Euros, we've still got Football-Oranje wristbands available. You can order them either by going to our Twitter page and it's pinned at the top, or you can go onto the description on the YouTube video and there's a link there to get one. If you do purchase one, it helps us grow as a website, as to things we can do and achieve. So thank you very much if you've got one already. They had a nice flurry of orders last week, which is great before the Euros, to get yours before they're gone. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and for playing along too and commenting your thoughts. If you didn't watch live and you want to leave a comment, do leave a comment below and we'll sure to get back to you too. How can you fix the problems with the Netherlands at the moment? Would you sack De Boer? Is it as simple as him going now, or do you think the KNVB are going to keep him in a job till after the Euros? Do let us know what you're thinking. And thank everyone in the comments as well for giving us some thoughts. But yeah, until next time, until against Gibraltar, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.